So I've come down here to see Dan at his workshop. He's been super busy making up all the king post trusses and other components for the big garage build, and we're literally ready to get them out on site. So that's what I'm doing now, just coming down, having a look at it, have a quick chat with Dan, see how he's got along, and then it'll be out on site and we'll be putting them together and craning them on. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
Morning.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Yeah.
Been busy?
Yeah, mate, you've been busy. Look at these. These are all your dowels you've been making up.
Yeah, making the dowels for the next job and for the trusses next week. So just counting them out. Probably 100 odd dowels in this one. So
what are we going to clout them in with?
Well, a bit of lube, yeah, and a copper and hide hammer. Something nice and heavy.
A copper and hide hammer.
Copper and hide hammer, yeah, and. Obviously, we just go through the pegs and just make sure the grain's running right and there's no knots and stuff like that, so you don't want any split out.
Yeah.
And just make sure they're all tapered off, making it nice and easy to go in.
Yeah. So what's this copper and hide hammer? In all my time in carpentry, I've never heard or seen one of those things. That's what I love about our business, because there's always something to learn.
It is. Well, historically, we're going to use the copper and hide hammer, one for weight. So obviously, knocking around the oak, you need something with a bit of weight, but you don't want a normal metal touching the oak because that turns it blue. It will oxidise that and then turn it blue.
Even if you're just banging it in?
Even if it just sits on top, any metal sits on top of the oak, it will turn it blue. So all the blue marks you see, you don't want that, whereas the copper won't do that at all.
Amazing, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So show me outside all of the kit that you've made.
Yeah, okay, so we had 4 trusses and 4 purlins we were going to make. So on top here, we've got the rafters all set, mortise and tenoned, and then we've got the little notches and the laps on top.
Yeah, that's for the purlins, right?
To take the purlins.
Yeah.
And they're all labelled, so truss 1 to 4. So when we're making, we can run left to right, and then we know exactly, because they're all handed, every little bit of oak is going to be different, so the laps are going to be different. So it's critical we pair them. So we've got then 4 purlins. Here.
So these purlins are huge.
Yeah, they're going to be the 6 metre purlins. Again, every lap is per truss. They have to be individually measured because they will vary a couple of mil.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, so you've actually, you know which bit this housing is going to sit over each cord,
because they do vary by a mil or 2, and you want to get it as tight as possible.
Which is the nature of green oak. Yeah. This is why. Even if because a lot of people are producing this stuff on great big computerized machines, and it's all right if they've got all the timber regularized, but
and that's it. And no oak is going to be exactly the same.
No, I mean it'll move within days of having it.
Absolutely,
as well.
Yeah, it may shrink by a couple of mil between you making it and putting it up. So then here we go. So all the trusses laid out, so we can now get them on site, lay them out. They're all labelled, numbered, all to a face mark, and.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's such a lovely looking material. So sustainable as well.
Absolutely.
Building in timber and oak.
Yeah.
Yeah, these look absolutely awesome, mate. I'm going to look forward to seeing you out on site when we come out. Go in hot again, are we?
We're going to go in hot. I think we have to go in hot. Yeah, 2 deliveries on this one.
Yeah.
But look forward to it.
Yeah, so what's going to come out in the first delivery? All of this or half of it? Or
probably half.
Yeah.
Probably do 2 trusses, 2 purlins, and then 4 rafters.
Yeah.
Put them together, then come back for the other set.
Yeah, brilliant. That'd be amazing.
Try to do it methodically, so we're not working, backwards and forwards.
Yeah. Are you going to be all right getting this stuff on your trailer next week, or use your forklift?
Yeah, I use my forklift, and I run a long car trailer as well, which I hire.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, so brilliant. Yeah.
No problems there.
Yeah.
Again, I sometimes I come out with a big lorry, but sometimes if the access is
like ours,
if the access is a bit tight, then that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So it's not really efficient. So I just run it in 2 small loads.
It's okay, mate. I'm going to have a little look at this beautiful work. It's absolutely amazing. As I say, I wish I'd been able to have had the time to make this.
Hopefully, you can come in on the second phase, and we can build some stuff. There's a couple of trusses in the link building as well with the oak rafters, so that'd be great.
That'd be amazing. All right, mate. Well, we'll crack on. So this is what it looks like out on site before Dan arrives. I put my drone up and you can see here the sort of construction before the oak goes on. You'll see those triple studs there. That's where the trusses are going to land. So here's a nice aerial shot of the site. Those 2 identical garages basically next to each other with that interesting parallel walkway which is going between. So yeah, this is the first time I've properly had my drone up, so I'm still a bit of a novice. If you can see, there's some shaky recording, and I'm not super technical. Usually I rely on Ed to read instructions and do things like that, but I didn't crash into anything, and I thought it was useful for us to sort of recap over the job. So we're about halfway through the job now, I'd say. So this is a nice way of giving you a bit of a tour through it before Dan gets on site and we start putting the oak in. So as I say, they're two identical garages. We're just going through these studwork doorways and windows that I've added. And this is our current temporary workshop. You can see I've popped a gazebo up because the weather was a little bit unkind this time of year. And it's really quite handy because I've bolted it down to the concrete slab. It's also protected by the walls from the wind a little bit. And it means I can crack on. So it's come a long way since this is how I found it before we started. This was the setting out before they even dug the foundation. So Jack and his guys cleared the site. They got it all perfectly flat. And then they got the setting out guy to come along, set out all these pins, and from that they dug the footings. Then they cracked on. Bricklayers got on site, got set up well, and started doing all the block work. So they started coming up towards the finished ground level with the block work there. You can see that. And it was quite intricate, but I came out on site a couple of times just to have a look at the dimensions, because obviously I was making all of the oak work going over the top and the timber work. And then they started on that really nice brickwork there. You can see that they did a superb job of that as well. And so yeah, we let them crack on with that. I went out to have a look at my timber, make sure I get the right stuff, which is really important, because you know, you want to make sure when you're building such a big timber structure, you've got exactly the right timber for what you need. And then it was dropped out on site and the delivery was easy. We got it right next to where I wanted it to be, and that also saves a lot of time in logistics as well. Anywhere where you can leverage the use of, you know, cranes and deliveries is great. And then I was off, I was away, and I'd already sort of drawn everything out in my mind. I knew exactly how big everything needed to be, and it was just a matter of setting myself up well and just doing lots of repetitious work. So I started by making all the small frames, then I made all the big frames, which is exactly what you see me doing here, making it in situ. So I had to do is stand it up. Then Big Ed joined me and we managed to get those walls up in no time at all the way around. And then we put over the first of the beams that Dan had dropped out to us. So that's the head beam above the garage doors and the first of the tie beams, which went from front to back. Then we just had to get it all clad in OSB 3, bat safe membrane. So it's just a lot of repetitious work, and this is how it is before we put the oak trusses on prior to pitching the roof. Thanks for joining me.